Second principle, KUJICHAGULIA.
KUJICHAGULIA.
I need it a little louder. KUJICHAGULIA.
KUJICHAGULIA.
See, I don't want to have to be the church man. Church man said, can I get a witness? KUJICHAGULIA, self-determination. Yeah. Say with me, black people. Yeah. Just a little long as the Spirit moves me. Now listen. KUJICHAGULIA teaches us to uphold the right and responsibility to live free and dignity-affirming lives. Do you understand that? We have a right to live a free and dignity-affirming life, and we support that right for everybody else.
That's right.
See? I mean, I want you to understand that. It's just not for us. We're trying to establish a principle for the world. People have a right to freedom. And for the European to imagine he has the right to invade any country he wants just because he has the might to do it. That's madness. Yeah. And he cannot do it in our name. And he cannot do it in our time without us responding to it. And still call ourselves Africans. African must mean excellence. African must be struggle for excellence. We're also obligated to bear witness to the beauty and goodness of being African in the world, to hold fast to the culture that called us into being and sustains us. And we have to reaffirm the sacredness of our own lives and the narrative we know as our history. You know, one of the things that, listen up, black people, I need to take just a few minutes on this, okay?
Take your time.
We need to see our lives as sacred.
Yes, yes.
And we need to see our history as sacred. Our narrative is sacred. Usually we've been taught to see other people's narrative as sacred. We believe they walk with God, talk with God. But all of y'all said something to God, even this morning. But you don't put no emphasis on it. You don't think it's as sacred as somebody else's. But just think about it. We are one of the most, if not the most, I won't say the most because, you know, I don't want to talk no chauvinism. But listen, there is nobody more spiritual than black people. If you know anybody, raise your hand, we got time. We also know we're the first people in the world. Rescue me if I'm wrong. I mean, we came for everybody. I repeat, we're the elders of humanity. Only maybe 10, 20,000, 40,000 years later, somebody else shows up. Now, in that thousands of year history, do we really think so small of ourselves that God never said one thing worth mentioning again to us, and when he finally spoke to us, he had an enslaver to do it? Think about it. Don't let me lose you now. I'm going to get off this point in a minute, but I just wanted to ask you, all y'all that talk African, all y'all that talk that we're in the image of God, all y'all that have been fighting for hundreds of years over the question of equality, how, when it comes to something as spiritual as, you know, people being in the image of God, that you take a back seat? I said this and I'd say this again and again. If we don't have no prophets, there is no prophet. If our text ain't sacred, ain't no sacred text. If we don't have saints, ain't nobody saintly. If we don't have a messenger, there are no messengers. I'm telling you, and if they don't respect our history, we don't respect theirs.
That's right.
That's my position.
That's right. Our position. Right.
Let me tell you this. I know they told you, somebody else put this concept forward. But as early as 2140 BCE in the Husia, the sacred text of ancient Egypt, Keti says, we're in the image of God, came from his very person, and that there's certain things we shouldn't do to ourselves nor allow others to do for fear of violating that special status. And in the book of Jedi tells Pharaoh Khufu, he can neither kill nor experiment, even on a nameless prisoner, because even that prisoner, dishonored and isolated, is equal to the Pharaoh as a bearer of dignity and divinity. These are lessons. That's what I did my second doctorate on, finding these things.
Yeah.
So we could teach. I've been doing this since the 60s. So we can speak our own special culture truth to the world, so we won't have to walk in the pale shadow of our oppressor. We must remember we are bearers of dignity and divinity, and we have the right to be African in the world. And we must use our history as a moral and spiritual idea and extract from it narratives to tell our children and to teach them character and to teach them the rightful way to walk in the world. You have to teach them about Malcolm and about Fannie Lou Hamer and about Anna Julia Cooper and about Dolores Tucker and about all the other people. I can name all of them. Roll call, right?
Yeah, there is.
Frederick Douglass, Martin King. You know them all right?
That's right.
Why do you just mention their name, use them as a reference rather than a resource?
Jeez.
Harriet Tubman was bad. Bad about what?
Come on.
How can I teach the young woman that needs a kind of, endurance, adaptive vitality? How can I teach her the lesson in life of Harriet Tubman? That's what you have to do. And teach it as a sacred story. Because they prayed. They felt a certain relationship with God. Sojourner Truth especially. She's always saying this.
Yes.
I want you to go home and think about that this Kwanzaa. Is my narrative as sacred as anyone else's? And if it is, let me get busy learning it so I can teach it.